Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Friday, June 28th. It's 2024, and it's weekend time. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're going to have a good weekend. I was supposed to be on a flight to Wimbledon today, for London for the weekend, Wimbledon next week. But we took a pass as my son and my daughter-in-law are due to have a baby any day, and we are not going to miss that. So Wimbledon will have to wait until next year. Wah! Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we're going to talk about out of the get-go. You know what happened last night. You know that we have been ones that have really not gotten into age. And what you saw last night. What we have done here is talk about policy. I put out a tweet last night, something to the effect of, I don't care if Joe Biden was 150 years old. The problem is his policies. And we have outlined them for you. Whatever you came away from the debate last night, it really does actually pale in comparison to his nightmarish mortgaging of our future, the lying about it, and the complete cover-up by the media on it. You can do debates and screw them up. You can do debates and have good debates. But if your policies suck, and especially policies that could give you stimulants now, but withdrawal later, therein lies the problem. So let me do again, one more time, the problem. This president came into office and unwound all the stricter, notice I didn't say perfect, but stricter border policies of Trump. Mayorkas, the head of Homeland Security, there's on video, you can go look at it now, of him thrilled with them getting rid of, I think he may have said hundreds of Trump's border policies. And what we got from that is a porous open border that has huge problems to it. Number one, the cost. You have people being moved around, Americans moved around, while these that are coming in illegally, they're being taken care of in many a city. Housed, healthcare, food, checks. Who do you think pays for that? We do. Unknowns. And this is the bigger story. They have admitted they don't know who's here and where they are. They just got caught a few that very likely could be they were here for terrorist activities. And of course, they're not divulging much. Have you heard of the word gotaways? It's exactly what it means, got away. And now we have not one, not two, not three, but quite a few of illegals murdering and raping young girls. And then there's how many? Have you read the numbers? Millions and millions. And what they try to do is, if you're worried about it, you're racist. But we're not. We just care. Most of us have never had a problem with immigrants. We have a problem with out of control. So the border, the massive increase in government, deficits, debt, spending, scope, reach, control. With every way, shape, or form, this president. And as we have stated, the other presidents past were no walk in the park. But this guy, who has marketed himself as moderate, is a socialist. He's a Marxist. He's a control freak. And they do it with massive spending. When they don't have enough, they will just go into the outer stratosphere of debt. The outer stratosphere of debt. We have been told that the Congressional Budget Office has now stated we're going to be $56 trillion in debt in 10 years from 35, another $21 trillion of debt. He put us on this path. Of course, others did also, but the big path is this guy. And we all know if the CBO says $56 trillion, it's going to be 65 or 70. The giveaways. We're going to give away $150 billion. Who gives a crap? They've made that into a footnote. What's $150 billion? When you're carrying $35 trillion of debt, who gives a crap? So it's 35,150. Afghanistan. We keep being told how much they care about women, but the Afghanistan women, the Afghani women, are in the dark ages. They're treated like dirt on the ground. And we left it that way. On top of billions of dollars of artillery. I can talk other foreign policy boondoggles. I can tell you many other things. But I think that covers enough. And then there was the debate. We'll let you decide on what you saw. We're not going to say another word about it. But the other part we're going to say about it is the media. You see, the media's first reaction was, holy crap, this sucks, get rid of him, 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 get rid of him. We turned on the other channels, the friendly channels. We taped it. Get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him. And then they had a talking to. You know what the new line is? Trump lied the whole time, and Biden, he had a cold. But I have news for each and every one of you. Biden lied the whole time last night. So not only did you see what you saw, he lied about everything. He said he's a 6 handicap in golf. Now that's not going to affect anything. But he said he created 15 million jobs. And we all know that's a lie. He's including COVID. He lied about Trump's record, not including COVID. He lied about the border unions backing him and endorsing him. Do you know the border union came out after he said that and said, we'll never back this guy? He lied for 90 minutes. Yet the media is now out, and just so you know, they all have meetings together. They're all using the same verbiage. Trump lied 100% of the time, Biden didn't. But we're telling you the truth. He couldn't even keep his lie straight. You know when we tell you about how we teach your kids, if you lie, the problem is you're going to have to remember the lie. And then you're going to have to cover up for the lie. And then you're going to be found out as a liar, and then you're going to have a reputation of a liar. He's been telling us that when he came into the presidency, inflation was 9%. No, it was 1.5. Last night, by accident, he went and said inflation was low when he came in. He forgot about his lie. But the media's already dropped that. So we're just letting you know, regardless of what you hear, we don't think he's going anywhere. We don't think he's going to be replaced. We believe they've already gotten around each other and said, we are going to fight this, and that's it. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on it. Then the market today. Weird day. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
Let's finish it up. Notice I haven't even mentioned Donald Trump. And I'm just not today. He's not the president. This guy's the president. You saw what you saw. He also said he actually put down tax cuts. He said Donald Trump's tax cuts will bankrupt the country. Or bankrupt the country. You keeping more of your money will bankrupt the country, but them spending us into oblivion will not. This is what I am talking about. The worst ever. And by far. And just letting you know, the media is circling the wagons. They're going to cover for him big time after initially they had no choice. You got Obama already out. And don't forget about Obama. Obamacare. Go look up the video of Jonathan Gruber, one of the architects, saying that Obama and the administration lied to get it passed. And we knew it was a lie. You're going to lower premiums? Yeah, sure. So the media's at it. They're playing it as Trump was terrible the whole time and he lied the whole time and Biden did not. Well, they're lying, as usual. And all I know is we know what we'll get for the next 4 years if Joe Biden's the president on the economy. And especially if he gets the House and the Senate. Massive debt, massive deficits, gargantuan tax increases across the board, more control, rules, regulations, fees, fines, mandates, and giveaways. And I can go on. And notice, I have not even mentioned his performance last night. He said no soldiers have died under his administration, staring straight in the face with 13 in Afghanistan. and a few in Jordan. Gold Star families came out and ripped him for lying about that. As always, you get to decide. As always, we play no favorites. As always, we believe in we the people. As always, we believe we're the driving force, not them. And you have somebody in the White House that believes they're the driving force. And every day right now, speaking of crime, I'm reading stories, and I'm just looking at this here. Just one that every day I'm reading 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. That a Haitian migrant, an illegal, accused of raping a 15-year-old at a Massachusetts shelter, was just released on bail, a measly $500 bail for raping a 15-year-old, despite a request from federal immigration officials to please hold this guy. Prosecutors were begging for much higher bail. And you had somebody that said, screw the citizens. And if he rapes again, tough crap. Wouldn't happen under a Kaltbaum administration. I will promise you that. And the rape was of a disabled 15-year-old girl. I'm reading about every day something like this. And the man with the bully pulpit never says a freaking word about it. And he's got some minions saying, so if it happened 1 or 2 times. Their mantra is, oh, the crime on a percentage basis is much worse from Americans than the illegal. That's the answer? So on top of you saw what you saw, which I don't care about, but we knew was out there, we're not going to be able to afford another 4. Now, we don't know what we're going to get from the next guy. But we know what we're going to get from this guy. And he stated it such. The proposals are out there. The evidence is there. The receipts are there. And then there was last night. That's our take. If we left anything out, it was by accident. We segue. I must tell you that everything we do here in the markets has to do with the markets showing us the way, taking us to certain places. It's done by a very time-tested roadmap that is never foolproof, but has really shown us the way. We pride ourselves, and we mean this sincerely, of knowing what bear markets, we're starting with the bear, look like, and to never be in bear markets. First and foremost. The second part of the equation is we're always looking for what we call launching pads. These are stocks that are coming out of range. And what we mean by a range, they've traded between 2 points for a good long while, have good earnings and revenue growth or great earnings and revenue growth, and then they bust out of that range. And you never know. NVIDIA busted out of range and went up 90%. Sat around for a few months, just busted out of range, went up 30 some odd percent. An example. And of course, we can give a bazillion of those. And then there are moments, ladies and gentlemen, where it gets real random. Up next, we'll explain the randomness and much more. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
So, what we mean by randomness are things that are no definable anything. Slight downtrends, not definable, backfill, and that just means back and forth. And then there's definable. Things that have broken out of range and are in uptrends. Things that are broken down out of range to the downside are in downtrends. But I have to tell you, in this market right now, we're at a moment, and I don't say this very often, where I'm on my toes. And what do we mean by that? And I say this with, we have made some good gains. Today, the worst areas strengthen. The best areas at the close got rated. Some of the mega cap tech has been acting perfectly, beautifully. And at the end of the day, and it's not the biggest deal, they hit Microsoft for 1% and change in 5 minutes. They hit Facebook for a couple of percent in minutes. Apple, which has been acting very well, boom, to the downside. While things that not doing much tick the other way. I watched today, not making this up, in the last 15, 20 minutes, the Dow rallied up 170 points in the last 20 minutes, while the NASDAQ in that same time rallied up the equivalent and gave it all back at the close while the Dow did not. And of course, that was some of the mega cap tech. A lot of randomness. The good news is, out of randomness always comes outcome. And when we do our scans this weekend, we'll see what the outcome is. But at the end of the day today, dang, they rammed the mega cap tech that has been acting beautifully. Almost, I hate saying the words, picture perfect. And as we go into the weekend, I will tell you that software we mentioned yesterday had a decent day again today. Off the highs, but a decent day. I will tell you that financials had a better day today, but nondescript. I will tell you that the steel stocks had a strong day today, but they've been very bearish. I will tell you the transports had another decent day today, but they have been weak as all week. Not sure that changed. I will tell you Nike was down $19 today. 20% for this company that does $50 billion in revenues on a worsening outlook into new yearly lows. It will be one of the examples that we show our peeps this weekend on, hey, this is why we don't own the stock. We will tell you that Disney, wow, it was doing a little bit better, and then it gapped down on earnings in May and has done nothing, and now it looks to be breaking down again. Disney in the Dow. We would tell McDonald's, and we're talking rhyme and reason here. What restaurants in a brutal bear market? McDonald's. Why? If they have to lower prices because of competition that eats into profits and stock price. So McDonald's, real bad shape, as well as others. We had mentioned to you, and this sometimes it's the eyesight. The Starbucks we go to, there is no doubt just by my eyesight looks to be down 25% plus. But I asked the couple in there, oh yeah, it's even worse. I went to 3 other Starbucks that are right around where I live, and it's the same. Starbucks has gone from 108 down to 77 in the last 7-8 months. And what's the problem? As I have told you, price conscious. So we tell you that. And as I said to you, the things I used to get for $6.99 are in the 9s now. Doesn't matter what I get. And in New York City, it's above 10. Price conscious. Why do you think all these restaurant chains are doing the value meals? Price conscious, but that eats into profits, which eats into margins and stock price, the whole rigmarole. Is that a word, rigmarole? I think it is. So there's a lot of jello moving on the plate, kids. And we'll see where the market decides to take us. We'll also tell you that crypto is now in its own little bearish phase. Trading below the 50-day moving average, which is now turning down, and now it's some vital support. If it gets taken out, it shall worsen. That's the crypto. In spite of somebody saying Bitcoin's gone to 1.8 million. The solars, they got hot for a moment and they croaked. The leading solar name, First Solar, if you're not on your toes, as we said, 307 to 225 in about 12 trading days. China not working. And it was trying, but when you have the 2 biggest names just being crushed in Alibaba and Baidu, that's going to be rough going. So again, a lot of jello moving on the plate. We've been very, very much more careful and judicious. But they got some of my big apps today. We're still very much in profit, but dang, at the close. Now guess what today was? End of quarter. And one could think, okay, they got overowned. They want to lop them off at the end of the quarter, get me out. Okay, we'll see what happens as we come back in for July 4th week. And in case you don't know, it's 3.5 days next week. We're done 1 o'clock on Wednesday. Thursday is July 4th. Be careful with your fireworks, please. Have you read the stories? Remember, risk management. I once had a moment with fireworks and lucked out. Don't need to get into it, but you know what I mean. I got a little cute and what was it like? Not a bottle rocket, but whatever. Oh, it was coming at me. I ducked. So just letting you know, dang, a lot of jello moving on the plate. We'll get into earnings season in about 3 weeks. but Nike today. And of course, that affected other stocks in the group to a certain extent. But Nike, wow. I have yet to do a deep dive on what's going on there, but I'm going to venture to guess the same thing as Lululemon, which has gone from $510 to $298 in 6 months. That Lululemon. You think this is easy? This ain't easy. I know what they tell you. It's not that easy. I know they tell you to think long term. It's not that easy. During our webcast, I'm constantly putting up stocks. Constantly. That are down 50, 60, 70, 80%, and I sarcastically say, yeah, go think long term. GameStop and Chewy. Chewy was down another 2 3/4 today, almost more than 9% to $26, down from 39 yesterday. I'll explain that much more. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
Well, under the heading of you got to be careful. So that Yutz with the GameStop put up a picture of a cartoon dog yesterday, and the Lemmings ramped up this Chewy stock, CHWY. Is there a big short position out there? About 24 million shares on 132 in the float. That's up there. Chewy's had to do some, I don't know why it came off the lows, but yesterday, because of that, it hit 39, it closed at 29, and down another couple of bucks today. The story goes, I guess the first owner of Chewy is the guy who now has the biggest position, or even maybe owns GameStop. So people try to put 2 and 2 together. But people lost their asses if they held on in a matter of hours. And we're going to bring these things up to you every single time because we are determined more than anything here is to try and get you to protect your capital when things and crazy things are swirling all about. GameStop is now $24.69, down from 48 on the second move, down from 64.83 on the first. And if that Yutz still has his stock, he gave back all his gains. Most of them. And as you know, we don't think he's Robin Hood. We think he's Robbing Hood. So we want you to be careful. And then with the disclaimer again, because we must. Last night, after the debate, there are people all over Twitter saying the Donald Trump stock is going to skyrocket because of this. And we're thinking to ourselves, Okay. It was down 11% today, down $3.98 to $32.75. And we just don't want you to forget, and this is not political, but they have set this up like other SPACs with valuations beyond the beyond. If they can improve the company, that's one thing, but as of now, at 176 million shares outstanding, and I believe they're adding 14 more, but let's use 176. At $10, it's got a $1.7 billion market cap with less than $4 million in sales and loses money. Them dogs will not hunt when all's said and done, and it doesn't matter to me whether he becomes president or not. Valuations will always matter when all is said and done. We have proven it to you throughout the years as we have taken on extreme valuations on crazy stuff that has shown up, whether it was Rivian or the SPACs. Or what was that other one? The space one, Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic. And they just did a 1-for-20 split. A SPAC that with the split had a cost of $1,256. It's $8. And it wasn't hard to figure out. These are the things we want to make sure that you're all smartened up about and knowledgeable about. And also the little things, like when we explain to you, why is McDonald's stock in a funk? Well, they're lowering prices. Oh, and their cost of employees have gone up in the big state of California. Why is Lululemon in trouble? Well, they charge a lot more than if you go to Target and buy the same stuff. That is how it works. Not 100%. And not necessarily in the short run. But in the end. And the best thing you can all do as investors, always be looking around you. I have the privilege and the honor to get a lot of emails from listeners on what's going on around them. Gives me a real good idea. And when I get something from Arizona and they tell me about the business they're in, and it's down 18%, I'm not going to get in what the business is. Want to know. And when I get something from Sacramento and the business they're in is flourishing, I want to know. And of course, then there's these very unbiased experts that we follow in the trucking industry, in the boating industry, in the oil industry like Phil Flynn, brilliant oil guy. And that still doesn't give us a right to make any money. But that's where the roadmap comes in. Because just because people say something's good doesn't mean the stock's going to go up. And just because they say something's bad doesn't mean the stock's going to go down. But when all is said and done, market's pretty damn efficient. I know that may sound crazy to you after the GameStop and the Chewy. But overall, it has a pretty good feel for things. And as we've said to you, we've studied it. There has never been a recession, a good one, well, a bad one, where the market didn't react way in advance. So we really do hope you're listening, because I have news for you. We're still learning. We're still teaching. We're still thinking. We're still observing. But we live by certain rules. When right, try to let them run. When wrong, be wrong fast and be wrong small. And hopefully that'll be good enough, adding everything up. Hey, that all said, you have a great weekend. Drive carefully. If you're traveling, enjoy the holidays. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better, I promise. Thanks for joining us. Hope we're helping. Good night, all. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.